Welcome to the Eastern Bloc. In the 1990s, metalheads were everywhere. Long hair, denim vests with metallic patches, heavy boots, and a boombox blasting guitar riffs. They gathered near metro stations, at stadiums and basements and courtyards, places where you could trade cassette tapes and talk about the latest albums from Iron Maiden or Aria. But today it feels as if that subculture has vanished. Where did the metalheads go, and why has the very word faded from everyday speech? The name comes from English heavy metal. It described a style of rock music born in the 1970s thanks to Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and Black Sabbath. In the USSR, the word took root in its Russian form, metal, and soon it was used to describe both the music and its devoted fans. Metalheads stood out not only for their musical taste, but for their entire way of life. For them, rock was more than sound, it was philosophy. In an era when much was forbidden, heavy metal became a form of inner protest. Its lyrics spoke of freedom, faith, and resistance to the system, things you couldn't speak about openly on the streets. They were easy to recognize: long hair, leather jackets or denim vests with patches, black and band t-shirts, studded belts and massive boots. Everything was handmade, clothes sewn at home, badges drawn with markers, tapes, copied dozens of times. Music was the core that united them. By the late 1980s, the first heavy rock festivals appeared across the country. Rock Panorama, Monsters of Rock, later Ashestia. Thousands gathered at these concerts, and everyone felt they belonged to something bigger than just a musical genre. Metal speaking Russia came between the late 1980s and early 2000s. Metallica, Slayer, and Accept albums circulated on cassette tapes, while local bands like Aria, Corrosion Metal, and Kipelo filled stadiums. Metalheads weren't just listeners, they were part of subculture with its own rules, code, and even rituals, from the devil horns greeting to trading rare albums. But by the mid 2000s, things began to change. Music became more accessible, and the lines between genres blurred. The internet allowed everyone to listen to everything, and young people turned to new styles, from rap to electronic music. The old symbols, cassettes, leather jackets, long hair, lost their meaning. In truth, the subculture didn't disappear, it evolved. Many former fans now listen to metal through their headphones on the way to work and go to concerts with their children. The music remains, only now it's part of everyday life, not a lifestyle. Even today, Russia hosts festivals like Dobrofest, Big Gun, and Black and Life, while bands such as Aria and Epidemia still play to full houses. At these shows, you see not just young faces, but also those who first heard metal back in the cassette era. Metalheads are modern fans of heavy music. They're a generation that live by one principle: be yourself. Their values, honesty and loyalty to friends, contempt for hypocrisy and pretense are still relevant today. In a world where appearance often wins over authenticity, their straightforwardness and sincerity are rare. You would see metalheads on the benches in your local park, sitting, talking, and playing guitar. They would have beefs with rappers and skinheads, and they would never hesitate to use this guitar in a fight. Metalheads never disappeared. They simply became less visible. They still live among us, working, raising families, and in the evenings, turning on an old Judas Priest or Ari album. Because when that heavy riff kicks in and your heart starts beating in rhythm, you realize metal isn't dead. It's just grown up.